Good afternoon, this is Tamara Sweeney from Love Dominates. Before I even get started, I would appreciate any newcomers or anyone that's watching this video to please subscribe to our channel by hitting the button at the bottom of this video. Also, to please like and share all or any of the videos that you see on Facebook, YouTube, all of social media. That would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I have a feeling I'm going to do a couple videos back to back because of the holiday season. Christmas is coming up, and it's very hard for the targeted parent to be without their children. It's also hard for our children to be without that loving parent. It's also for grandparents, extended family. I want to explain every year, just on my own social media, we lose a couple people every year due to the domestic violence, the abuse, and I'm trying to save those people because they're worth it. We need them around for their children. You don't want to give that narcissistic parent power by committing suicide. I sent out an article not too long ago about our veterans. There's like 20 veterans a day committing suicide due to the PTSD. I'm sure it has to do with the government and them taking their children, taking their assets, their homes, their family. It's a very hard life. Today, I received a text message. I won't give out a name. She's been alienated for 35 years. And I have to put on my readers to read this. But this really hit home, and I want you guys to listen to this. She texts me, "Just because we love and nurture, sacrifice to raise our own children, does not mean our children will love us in return, especially if they live in an environment where other family members validate and reinforce misdirected hate and anger. Power and control dominate over love." The last part, the last sentence where she said, "Power and control dominates over love." I agree and I disagree at points. I do believe love is the ultimate vibration on this earth. I do believe it's the ultimate power. But the power and control of a covert narcissist, there's no medicating these people. There's no diagnosing this type of person. But it is a very, I would say, severely dangerous situation to be in. And you don't realize it until you're gone. So in a sense, she's right. Power and control sometimes dominates love. For example, our children are stuck in a situation. They live in fear. They don't even know they're living in fear. But they live in fear to leave that narcissistic parent. They don't want to hurt their feelings. Plus, they're constantly looking for love from that parent. They're never going to find love from that parent because that parent doesn't know how to love. If that parent loved, they would never cut the other parent out of the child's life. It's not human. Anyway, the one thing that brought me to, which I had a very hard time with people saying this to me, especially when you're in a severely alienated situation, There's 3 different levels. There's mild, medium, severe alienation. When you're at that severe alienation mode, you can't reason with that narcissist. You cannot negotiate. You cannot communicate. They don't respond by email. They don't text. They avoid and they run and they hide. So how are you supposed to have any kind of relationships with your children if you're dealing with a person like this? You can't. It's impossible. It's absolutely maddening. Maddening is a good word. But I used to have people coming up to me and they'd say to me, Tamara, when your kids get married and they have their own kids, they'll figure it out. So just wait 30 years and they'll come back. Wrong. That used to really get under my skin, because in reality, I was begging, screaming, kicking, begging for help. Not one person in domestic violence, in the court system, family, friends, neighbors, nobody can comprehend what a narcissistic personality does. They don't get it. And when your children turn on you and they're vile to you, it's very hard. So you're in panic mode to try to correct everything, because we're always on the end of lecturing. We're always on the end of giving examples, role modeling, because they're not getting that from the other parent. So we always look like the bad person, the targeted parent. My advice, my own personal advice, I am not a lawyer, I am not a therapist, I'm just an experienced person of dealing with parental alienation, parental abduction, parental kidnapping, because that's what it is. It's absolutely what it is. And if you don't get your kids in the very beginning, do whatever you can. Don't listen to these therapists. Don't listen to all these other people. You do what your gut's telling you to do and get to those kids somehow. Through their friends, through neighbors, whatever. You have to get to those kids. Because once the damage is done, it's done. In my own personal situation, the power and control is so high. When you have someone that has money and power and will buy your children phones, cars, give them a job, they're working for the narcissistic parent, someone who's built an empire for them. It's very heart-wrenching, but I don't think they could ever be cured unless if they get deprogrammed. And what I mean by that is they have certain trigger words. So, and this goes both ways, mom or dad. I'm just using my example. I'm a mom, so I'm using the dad name. If I say the word dad, that's a trigger name. If I say anything, these words trigger them to their soul, and their first reaction is to boom, fight back. So, my answer to them is, how am I supposed to communicate? How am I supposed to co-parent if I can't use the word dad? The therapist wouldn't allow me to use that in the room, and to me that's helping the alienation. A real therapist would say the mother and father need to role model good behaviors, and then divorce is not such a bad thing. You can make divorce a good thing as long as the parents can role model, as long as the parents can communicate. The one person that can't communicate, that hides, that doesn't The children that align with the parent, that's the abuser. Absolutely the abuser. Because those kids are constantly looking for love, and they're going to keep going back to the abuser, because they want that love. Sort of like when you're married, you keep going back. You feel bad. You feel like, oh my God, they love me so much and I'm not giving them enough of my love. They know how to gaslight. They know how to manipulate. They know how to control you. They know how to trigger. And our children, to be honest with you, if our children came back without the deprogramming, I would be scared. Very scared. Because they are now role modeling the same behaviors of that narcissistic parent. So you lose that trust because they used to spy on you. They were vile to you. They said vulgar things to you. It's very hard to trust them. You know, you're constantly looking over your shoulder, you know, sleeping with one eye open. That's not living. Living in fear is not right. And anyone that puts you in that position to live in fear, you got to get out of that situation fast and smart. Anyway, I know this video is over 10 minutes, so I hope this helped. I'll be touching base with everyone over the holidays. Please know that you are worthy, you are loved, and you should never feel alone. Please reach out and call us at Love Dominates. Someone will return a call. Okay, God bless. Choose love over hate in every decision you make, and choose compassion over judgment. Amen.